What's going on, everybody? My name is Jordan Yeager, not to be confused with the Jordan Briones, but I am stoked that you're back for another review. We are extremely appreciative for taking time to look at the newest line of carbon paddles with us. The Carbon Power series were some of the first thermoform paddles to come to the market. It started with the 1X and 2X, and now they've expanded this line of paddles to the 3X. Carbon offers a limited lifetime warranty with all of their paddles, which is great considering that they're on the more pricey side of things. All of these paddles have their own distinct shape, advantages, and disadvantages, and they are all tailored towards different types of play styles. With that said, let's dive into it. The Carbon 1X is honestly a banger's dream. Ground strokes feel fantastic with this paddle. Normally, I would say I have a 70% drop rate and a 30% drive rate, but with this paddle, those percentages are completely flipped. It makes you want to drive the ball every chance you can get with both forehand and backhand sides. The 5.5-inch handle length felt really nice with my two-handed backhand. I was able to comfortably place both hands on the paddle, and it gave me that extra stability that I want with my two-handed backhand for drives and drops. With the swing weight of 123, I'm really not that surprised that ground strokes feel so natural. And combining the crisp ground strokes with a deep serve, you become extremely difficult to beat. It only took me a handful of serves to dial in the correct pace and depth to get the balls landing within a foot of the baseline on serves. There are other paddles on the market right now that do have more spin than this paddle, but I never felt like it was lacking spin on any specific shot. With its great sweet spot, resets, drops, and dinks felt very intuitive. I was never worried that the ball would come off dead or uncontrollable in any sense. I didn't think hands battles would be a strength of this paddle because of its high swing weight, and it's not. But the pop of the paddle definitely does help make up for it. As for pop, I wouldn't say this feels as punchy as something like the 6-0 double black diamond, but it's not too far off. This paddle has an ample amount of dwell time as well. I never felt like I was disconnected from any specific shot. This paddle is geared towards someone that likes to be aggressive and to end points early. Not to say that you can't be patient and dink around with this paddle, but I did notice that I was wanting to initiate hands battles first rather than being the one reacting to them. When others started hands battles, I caught myself being late on a couple of balls. It was much better when I initiated the attack from the kitchen line and played the point out from there. If I were going to play a singles tournament tomorrow though, this would be the paddle I would choose. It is still a great doubles paddle, but I feel like there are other paddles on the market that would suit my playstyle for doubles better. Overall, I think this is a fantastic paddle for someone who likes to be aggressive and to end points early. The funny thing with playing with the Carbon 2X for the first time is that I switched from playing with the 1X the game prior. Not really paying attention, I didn't realize how different these paddles were from each other than the difference in shape. I was still trying to play the same way with the 2X as I was with the 1X, which was a huge mistake. With the 1X, I was very trigger happy and was wanting to drive everything I could possibly touch, and that's the worst thing you can do with the 2X. The 2X has complete opposite strengths and weaknesses from its older brother, the 1X. That first game with the 2X, I was still trying to hit a huge serve and huge ground strokes. The difference was extremely apparent between these two paddles and these two shots specifically. Drives didn't feel like they had any kind of oomph to them, and my serve was getting literally half the depth compared to playing with the 1X. And with the handle only being 4.75 inches long, I struggled to find a comfortable place to have my second hand on for my two-handed backhand. Initially, these things made me pretty irritated because I was still in attack mode with my ground strokes and my serve, but mid-game, I realized I was playing with this paddle completely wrong. I was playing to its weaknesses rather to its strengths. Once I started hitting drops instead of drives, it was a completely different story. This paddle excels at hitting solid drops, great resets, and controlled dinks. This paddle shines when you slow the game down and aren't aggressive. But I did enjoy playing at the net with this paddle. Even though this paddle has a lot less pop than the 1X, the low swing weight of 109 makes it maneuverable, still allowing you to stay in the fight with hands paddles. With the 1X, I got jammed a considerable more amount of times than with the 2X. And that leads me to another thing. Because its swing weight is so low, it leaves a ton of room for customization with lead tape. I personally would put some lead tape at 3 and 9 o'clock so that it has more plow through for returns, blocks, serves, and drives. As for spin, it has slightly higher RPMs coming in at 1847, but doesn't have a large enough difference to notice it on the court compared to the 1X. Talking about specific shots, none of them felt like it was lacking in the spin department. CRBN definitely knew what they were doing with these two paddles. They made them opposites of each other so they could reach a much larger audience. This paddle is definitely geared towards the type of player that likes to play like Colin Johns. Someone that is ultra consistent, that has no problem with hitting 3 or 4 resets until they find the right ball to transition to the kitchen line and then grinding it out with dinks and forcing the opponent to make an unforced error. If you are this type of player, then this paddle is a solid option that you should consider. The CRBN 3X is supposed to be a hybrid between the 1X and the 2X, and to be honest, they've done a really good job with that. I feel like they took the strengths from both paddles and put them into one. It still has that same type of pop and power that the 1X provides, but has the forgiveness the 2X offers. Out of the 3 paddles, this is the one that I played best with. It does everything pretty good, but that's just it. In my opinion, I don't think this paddle excels at anything specifically, but does everything that you want to well enough. I believe this is one of the better, well-rounded, all-court paddles on the market right now. I believe that's why I played so well with it, because I have a very hybrid type of playing. There are times where I drive the ball more often than dropping, and vice versa. This paddle does both of these things well. It has a 5 1/4 inch handle length, which is still comfortable for my two-handed backhand. And then on defense, digging out balls for resets felt great as well. This paddle does have a larger sweet spot than the 1X. I believe that is the case because of its elongated shape and slightly shorter handle. You just have more paddle face to work with than the 1X. This paddle really reminded me of the Electra Model E, but with all the benefits of a thermoform paddle. And I love that Electrum. It will always have a special place in my heart. But the 3X has a pretty average swing weight of 118, which makes it maneuverable enough at the net to where it doesn't feel like you're being hindered, but high enough to where returns, serves, drives feel satisfying. If you consider yourself someone that doesn't overly favor any specific shot and wants a paddle that can do everything, then this is a paddle I would definitely recommend. The CRBN 1X is a great option for those who have an aggressive playstyle or for someone that is looking to have a more aggressive playstyle. Playing with this paddle almost has a sense of hijacking control over your body. It makes you hit more drives, more aggressive returns, and bigger serves than ever before. This is a phenomenal singles paddle, and if the swing weight doesn't bother you at the kitchen line, then it's a great option for doubles as well. The CRBN 2X, like I mentioned, is meant for those people that want to play the slow game. The ones that take their time getting to the kitchen line by hitting consistent resets and grinding out points. This is my least favorite paddle out of the bunch, not just because it doesn't match my playstyle, but I noticed that it was much harder than normal to finish points than with most other paddles. I would definitely add lead tape to this one to compensate for that issue. In my opinion, the CRBN 3X is the one that takes the cake. I felt most comfortable with this paddle while being on the court, and I got the best results while playing with this paddle. I like it a lot because it doesn't have any weaknesses and it does everything well. I would rather have a paddle that is very well rounded than one that excels in one area and lacks in another. If I played more singles, I would honestly pick the 1X out of this bunch, but that rarely happens. So if you are someone that plays singles as often as doubles, then I think that is something to think about. But I believe the Carbon 3X is in the top 5 best all-court paddles on the market right now. I hope that you recognize the theme in this video. There are a lot of good paddles out there, but not every paddle is meant for every player. I don't think just because a paddle reviewer like myself does a review on a paddle, you should go out and buy it immediately. You need to find what your strengths are and then look for a paddle that complements those strengths and improves upon your weaknesses. That is when a paddle will actually make a difference in your game and help you get to the next level. If you're interested in any of these paddles, make sure you use discount code BrionesPB at checkout. Honestly, save yourself some money. And I can't tell you how much it helps support the channel. I genuinely thank each and every one of you for taking the time to watch this video and to hear my thoughts on it. There are some more reviews coming out very soon that I'm very excited to share with you all. So make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss out.